Is this the end of Tesla, the collapse of EVs, or is it the entire green energy push failing right before our eyes? Just a few months ago, electric cars were the future, the savior of the environment. Billions of dollars were pumped in. Politicians and celebrities couldn't stop praising them. But now, companies are slashing prices, factories are shutting down, and even government incentives are gone. The narrative is crumbling, and the same people who push this agenda are going silent. Can the industry be saved, or is this the beginning of the end? Let's break it down. This is going to be a wild ride, so buckle up, hit that like button to support independent media like us, and let's dive in. For a while, it seemed that it could work. Elon Musk, once hailed as a visionary, began to expose government frauds. He revealed how certain officials were misusing funds meant for the electric vehicle industry. This led to widespread protests, as people felt betrayed by their leaders. The media was ablaze with stories of corruption, and social media was flooded with outrage. Politicians scrambled to address the backlash, but the damage was done. It felt like the whole world was united in their anger and disappointment. We were bombarded with images of protests, demanding accountability and transparency. The protests were not just about fraud, they were about a broken promise to the environment. They were supposed to be the answer to everything: climate change, dependence on foreign oil, even traffic congestion. Governments worldwide, particularly in Europe and China, faced massive protests, demanding an all-electric future. The stock market reacted sharply to the unrest, with EV stocks taking a hit. Tesla's stock price plummeted, and Elon Musk faced intense scrutiny. Venture capitalists grew wary, pulling back investments from EV startups. For a moment, it seemed like the future of EVs was in jeopardy. The hype was replaced by skepticism, and everyone seemed to be questioning the dream. But, as we all know, what goes up? Remember those government incentives I mentioned? Yeah, those started to dry up. And as the financial support dwindled, frustration among the public began to rise. This frustration manifested in some very destructive ways. Suddenly, Tesla showrooms became targets for vandalism. Windows were smashed, cars were spray-painted, and the damage was extensive. But it didn't stop at showrooms. Manufacturing plants also faced their share of attacks. There were even incidents of attempted arson. These acts of vandalism and arson were a clear sign of the growing discontent. People were angry, and they were taking it out on Tesla. The company, once seen as a beacon of innovation, was now a target. And the damage wasn't just physical. The financial impact was significant, with stock prices taking a hit, and the company's reputation was taking a beating. The leadership had to address these issues head-on, but the damage was done. Consumers, who had once been enthusiastic supporters, were now questioning their loyalty. The incidents of vandalism and arson were a wake-up call. They highlighted the growing divide between the company and the public, and it was clear that Tesla had a lot of work to do to rebuild trust. The road ahead was going to be challenging, but it was also an opportunity for the company to reassess and adapt. If they could navigate these turbulent times, there was still hope for a brighter future. But it was clear that the cracks were beginning to show. Chapter 4. The Political and Economic Shift. Even Elon Musk himself has agreed that the EV industry was in trouble. The same politicians who were falling over themselves to throw money at Tesla and other EV makers are now changing their tune. The subsidies are drying up, the tax breaks are disappearing, and the regulations are getting tighter. Why the sudden change of heart? Well, for one thing, governments are facing their own economic woes. The free money party is over, and they simply can't afford to keep subsidizing an industry that's not delivering on its promises. But it's also about politics. The green agenda, which was once a surefire vote winner, has become increasingly unpopular with the public. People are tired of being lectured about their carbon footprint, especially when the solutions being offered are expensive, impractical, and often counterproductive. They see through the hypocrisy of politicians and celebrities who preach about saving the planet while jetting around in private planes and living in energy-guzzling mansions. The protests have had a significant impact on Tesla's operations. Production has slowed, and the company is facing increased scrutiny from both the public and the government. They control the supply chains for batteries, rare earth minerals, and other critical components needed for EVs and renewable energy systems. This means that even if the West does manage to transition to an all-electric future, we'll be utterly dependent on China for the technology to power it. Not exactly a recipe for energy independence or national security. So the political winds are shifting and the economic realities are setting in. The EV bubble, inflated by hype, government subsidies, and wishful thinking, is starting to deflate. But what does this mean for the future of transportation? Is this the end of the road for electric vehicles? Chapter 5. The Future of Tesla and Green Energy. So, will Tesla survive the ongoing protests and shifting public sentiment? Probably, but not without significant changes. The dream of a Tesla-dominated EV future might just be facing new challenges. The technology is still evolving and there are still many hurdles to overcome. Battery technology needs to improve, charging infrastructure needs to be expanded, and the price needs to come down significantly. And let's not forget about the environmental impact of mining all those rare earth minerals needed for batteries. It's not as clean and green as some people would like to believe. But even if we do manage to solve all the technical and environmental issues, there's still the question of whether people actually want to give up their gas-powered cars. For many people, cars are more than just a mode of transportation. They represent freedom, individuality, and a certain way of life. And it's not clear that electric cars, at least in their current form, can offer the same emotional appeal. So what's the answer? Well, it's probably not going to be a one-size-fits-all solution. Different technologies will likely coexist for many years to come. We'll probably see a mix of electric, hybrid, hydrogen, and maybe even some synthetic fuels. The key is to focus on innovation and competition, not government mandates and virtue signaling. Let the market decide which technologies are the most efficient, affordable, and sustainable. And let consumers choose the cars that best suit their needs and preferences. The future of transportation is uncertain, but one thing's for sure. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Outro. The EV question mark. What do you think? Is Tesla facing an uncertain future, or is this just a temporary setback? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Is the green energy dream dying? Was it ever really achievable in the first place? Or are we just witnessing the growing pains of a new and disruptive technology? One thing is clear, the future of Tesla and the EV market is far from certain. But by asking tough questions, challenging the narrative, and fostering open discussion, we can create a better, more sustainable future for everyone. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay skeptical. Marie, don't forget to like and subscribe for more good news to come your way. While the future of EVs may seem uncertain, it's essential to remember that every revolutionary technology faces its share of challenges. From the first steam engines to the dawn of the internet, innovation has always been a journey fraught with obstacles, but driven by visionaries who see beyond the immediate hurdles. We're witnessing a period of adaptation and transformation. Governments, industries, and consumers are all learning to navigate this new landscape. Advances in battery technology, renewable energy sources, and sustainable practices are paving the way for a brighter, greener future. So as we ponder the question marks surrounding EVs, let's also acknowledge the strides being made. The road ahead may be winding, but with perseverance and innovation, we can steer towards a more sustainable tomorrow. Supporting green energy initiatives is crucial, as they hold the key to overcoming these challenges. Thank you for watching, and remember, the power to shape the future lies within us all. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay hopeful.